welcome to the Storybook
kind of a
Song
nightmare.
Club. Yeah, this is our first interview here with the wonderful bird Satan. He is I would say, multi-instrumentalist, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
How many instruments do you
I'm
know?
not so. Well, I'm guitar, bass, are my primary instruments, and recently doing vocals, so adding that to the roster, and then on top of that, just
Okay.
basic keyboard and such. I'm trying to get good at the skin flute. That's still a work in progress.
The skin. Oh yeah, like whistling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you
Uh,
not know how to whistle?
I know how to. I know how to whistle. I know how to whistle.
Oh, all right. I didn't know.
I can't demonstrate because I'm not warmed up. I'm not warmed up. I gotta warm up to something like that's like super duper magnanimous as my whistling.
Mm-hmm.
I can't just pull it out at a moment's notice.
Can't just pull it out. No, it has to be a very special occasion.
I'm not a teenager
sure.
anymore. I can't just.
Well, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Mainly, you have an album coming out. Would you like to let everybody
Yes.
know what that album is?
Okay. It's called Terminal. Right, as in the end of my career. It's coming out sometime soon. We have a date. I guess that's where we talk about the listening party, which I'm super excited for. We're in the process of getting it to, online platforms and such, and there are little murmurs the in the bubble, in the nest, little murmurs in the birdhouse, that's physical releases. But that's still a rumor. I don't even know myself. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
It would be August 11th, 9 p.m.
August 11th.
August 11th, 9 p.m. will be the listening party.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
But it's gonna be here in this world too, and we'll be having
filmed on location.
Of course, filmed on location.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be cool. I'm tired of hearing it. I want it. At some point in time, you just gotta take the training wheels off your toddler, and just let him roll.
Yeah, this is your
down the hill. See where he gets.
Would you say this is the most? This is the most amount of work you've done on an album before? I know you've released one before.
Yeah, I've released several. I have a few. Like Candle in the Dark. Amateur. Don't listen to it. It's been a pleasure. That was 2018. That's Sad Boy Hours. Don't listen to it. Clarity. Is from 2021. How long has it been? What year is it?
That'll be like 3 years.
It'd be about like 3 years. Yeah, somewhere in there. Clarity. That's a good album. I'm more proud of that because it was a representation of where I was at the time. It was also It was also more focused than the previous releases.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas previously it was just like throwing together stuff that kind of worked. With Clarity, I was playing around with like flow and like story narrative and such. And then Terminal, which is this year's deal. It is way more focused. It has lyrics. Because previously all my stuff was instrumental. Now it's vocals. I'm actually telling a story, no matter how like pretentious and poetic and obscured the meaning is. Now it's far more focused. There's definite flow. You can take each song by themselves or the whole package, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
All 7 songs. Start from start to finish, because that's pretty much how I built it. I started with demo tracks that were in separate projects, and then like in January, that was when I put all those demos into a single project and then started building it from there and refining it. And so the intention, the whole album was me looking at it all at the same time, which is taxing. Oh, taxing! I need to upgrade my computer if I'm
Well,
going
if
to
there's
do that
something that
again.
you could do different when making an album like this, is there anything that you would have done differently?
A bit better workflow. Better
What
workflow
does that mean?
because my DAW would crash a lot
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Every once in a
Yeah,
while, all the time.
that happens to a lot of us,
About 40%
especially
of the
to
time, it would
my
crash
producer.
every single time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would have just a better workflow, have it a bit more focused instead of spending so much time doing take after take after take. But in the end, it's just it's a wash. I just clean it up after that, and there you go.
Yeah.
If it takes 10 takes to get that take that you're absolutely proud of, that you're like, I can present that to people, or no. I wish that it would take me less time to get to the take, that I can say, not so much I want to present this to people, but more
Mm-hmm.
so, will I regret not fixing that? And then closer to the end of like getting everything, when I was in in not so much the writing stage, but more so the refining stage. Sitting in the refining stage, I kept asking myself, will I regret not fixing that drum part? Or will I regret, or when listening back to it, can I let that go? And if yes, fix it right then and there. If not, let it go. Right? And that's something that I'll definitely take with me to the next album, in terms of like process and workflow. Like really asking myself, do I have to change this? Do I have to do things for this? Phone was
Okay.
blowing
Cool.
up.
No, I know. I
It
heard
was
that.
yeah, it was the president calling me saying, I heard the album.
Their album's coming out soon. You should. Could I pre-save it? Do
Yeah.
you know? Are we have the ability? We can't pre-save it yet, right? It's not that. It's not yet
No, it's
out
not.
there, right?
It's not available at the moment.
Okay. Cool.
If as soon
Fun.
as I'm able to get it up, because we're also working on art.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we're able to get it up and on, I'll definitely like do the pre-save deal and shoot a message over Twitter.
Yeah, I know you've had a lot of like you're trying to put a lot of thought and time and effort into the cover specifically for this this
Yeah.
album. So what what exactly are you trying to convey with this album cover? You said it was like folding, like something like it's folding thing.
Yeah.
What is it?
The intention behind the piece, um, behind the art piece itself. You have what will be going up on digital services will be just a corner of just a square corner of
Mm.
this bigger piece. This bigger piece. Um, bleh. Sometimes coffee doesn't work. You need to go a little bit harder. Just a little one step up.
More caffeine. Just get a Ford
Yeah,
Loco,
yeah,
and it'll be ready to go.
yeah. Get fucked up.
Sponsored by
God,
Ford
Four
Loco.
Locos. Four Locos are nasty. We're not sponsored. I refuse. God, if there's anything I want to be
Exactly.
sponsored by, it's fucking like Adderall, please. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Adderall, yeah.
Um,
Big
yeah, no,
pharma.
yeah. Big Pharma, sponsor me. You're the best. Uh, bestie.
That would be so weird.
Yeah,
Someone was
having like a
sponsored by
major
Big Pharma.
corporation.
Or it could literally just be called Big Pharma. Like, yeah, we own it.
Yeah,
We own the label.
yeah.
Oh gosh, the Big Pharma had a record label. Oh no, for
That would
jingles
be straight
specifically.
up propaganda. Like, no
No,
doubt
that
about
would.
it.
No, no, I mean, kind of like, yeah, all jingles are technically propaganda. We're getting real
Yeah.
deep today. But yeah, I'm also curious to think. So wait, so describe a little bit more about. I want to see. Do you have the picture of the album cover? Do you have what you want it to portray, or is it still sort of in the process of being made? It's not
Still in the
quite. The
process.
puzzle piece hasn't been. Okay, cool.
Still in the process. I've commissioned several artists to work on it, to refine it, to actually like just think tank, because I was so I'm so focused on the production side of the music, right?
Mhm.
And I used to be able to do art, and not and commonly, would just sit down. I'd be able to sit down for hours and hours working on a single piece. But now, as I guess I'm getting older, or ADHD getting worse, or whatever, I find it more like stimulating to like play and write music, or I guess just more rewarding personally, in terms of like personal fulfillment.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I've Terminal was a lot of breaking down of a lot of walls, right? I asked for help on this one because previously I was just in a shut-in and didn't talk
Mhm.
to anybody, didn't reach out to anybody. If I can't do it on my own, then I shouldn't be asking someone else to do it, right? Just hard stances. But this one, I actually asked for help for the album art itself, but
Well, you
also
even
not
asked
being
for
able to
help
figure out.
with like actual musical parts too. I know that your friend Cookie was
Yes.
also involved, I believe, and
Hmm.
me and Solinus was also involved with that project.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it was really fun getting to see you open up and being more like asking more questions and yeah.
a lot of barriers, a lot of walls,
Yeah, so you
walls of
could say that this
Jericho.
album is sort of just like the beginning of that process of learning to collaborate and communicate with other artists. And I think, like, for me, when I decided to make my first album, it was really difficult for me to um, get my perfect sound out of my head and
Hmm.
to the heads of others, and I just had to accept that when I invited other people to collaborate with my work, it was no longer going to sound 100% like what I want it to in my head. It was going to sound sometimes better than what I have in my head, and I had to pop that idea into my head. It's like, look, it may sound perfect right now, but it could also get even more perfect in you just haven't even thought of it yet. And bringing these people and these artists increases that chance, especially if you get artists that you highly respect and you value their work. It can give you a different perspective, and not only that, but it also allows you to form good relationships with those people, and you in turn get to meet their friends, and you get to collaborate with them, and it just opens so many doors. And I really have done a full 180 on, no, I want it to sound exactly what it is in my head, to I'm so excited to figure out what the song is going to be.
It almost like redefines the target.
Yeah,
Because,
exactly.
like you said, it does change the perspective. Having a singular target and only you aiming at it, you can only see it from one specific angle. But bringing in someone else in, you're able to see the other side of it, have a clearer understanding of what that's supposed to sound like. An artistic interpretation of something that's already, a fuzzy, nebulous type of thing, which that's actually clear in Terminal. The way that it flows, it starts out kind of just me, with some backing vocals here and there, from my friend Oliver. Then it ends with this almost like choir of you and Solinus, Sol Major.
Yeah.
Sounds sick. Like, that was a turning point. As soon as I got back you guys' vocals and put it in and layered in and set it up, I think I burnt myself out on that section of where you guys come in. Because I would play it back over and over again. I'm like, yeah, buddy, that's the shit right there. I'm proud. I'm proud of what we were able to do. Really killer, really awesome. Plus, also, I couldn't sing that part myself, and so that's where I'm like, I need to know where my limitations are, and vocals just so happen to be, a major limitation.
My
So
thing
a lot
is
of walls
vocab
of
words.
Jericho.
Yeah. I'm still trying to explain the best of my ability what I want to my producer, and it's just like, oh my gosh. I feel like he's just being so patient with me. He's just like, is this what you want? I'm like, no. It's like, okay, well, is this what you want? No, I want it to sound more bigger. And then he's like, okay, well, then I'm going to pan it. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound exactly what I want it to sound like. Can we make it sound like it's frozen?
POV, you're 10 years old, your mother who's patient with you and loves you, you go to the store, you're like, you want
what do you
these? All right, you want these?
No. Man, it really
can we
sucks.
talk about them? Can we talk about them?
Oh yeah, Midnight Drift.
Yeah, love that guy.
Yeah, Midnight Drift. Yeah, my
shit.
producer. Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's a great guy. I love him to death. He and I both have our quirks, but we still work together and we still mesh well. And I couldn't have gotten a better producer that has been helpful and patient and getting me where I need to be. But he's helped you a lot. He's the one that did the mixing and mastering on your track. Which is great. Yeah, I was there.
He did, definitely. Yeah. That was awesome. That was great. being able to that yes. I would swear to myself, like if again, it goes back to the walls, right? It goes back to
Yeah.
the borders of letting people in, slamming doors in people's faces and saying, "No, mine, precious."
Yeah.
It's that like getting it to a point where, or getting the album up to a point where it's like I'm okay with sending that off to somebody. Bleh. Brr.
Yeah.
Getting it to a point where I was comfortable with sending it to somebody and saying, "Hey, fix this." And I have two wolves, right? There are two wolves in me, right? And
Yeah.
I'm fully aware of the furry community. I know exactly what that sounds like, and I'm not going that angle. There are two wolves. The whole the parable, not the
No,
not
it's the
Omegaverse.
one you feed is you have yeah.
Exactly. There are two wolves. Well, I guess yeah, the one you feed. Yeah, that's really cool and all that. It's like I haven't fucking seen that on Instagram a million times. But two wolves, right? One side is like mine and fuck you and all that. The other side is oh no, yeah. One side is, oh fuck you, I could do it better myself. And if you want a job done, right, you do it right. You do it yourself, right? Old fashioned.
Yeah.
The other wolf is can you help me with this? And I don't want to overburden you with this. And maybe it's a little bit too much to ask to have you do this. Maybe, yeah, please. No, just no backbone at all. And so
No
I
backbone.
was wrestling with that when I was working with him, um, because it's like like there were a few revisions that I sent back, and like, volume up, please, just a little bit over here, volume down a bit over here is like, eh. But granted, by the time that I gave it to him, he said it was like, dude, this is a finished product. I'm just polishing from there. I'm like, don't tell me that. If it's like, if I'm passing it off to someone, then I would like for there to be like significant refinement. He's like, yeah, man, it compressor, fucking master, all that stuff. He said that it was like barely much, not a whole lot of work that he had to do, which I guess
Mm-hmm.
in earnest tells me how much I've like grown as not just composing, but mixing, getting everything where it needs to be.
Getting the
Good
levels that
studio
were
headphones. Good studio headphones and ear training and just discipline in that goes a long way.
I
Brings me to
think
my
ear
next
training is
point.
something. Yeah, ear training is something that it just takes time. There's no other way. You
Mm,
have to just make songs, and you have to continue to make songs. Otherwise, you won't know what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. You have to listen to like the pop songs, how they mixed them, and then you have to look at your own stuff and seeing how it compares in between the two, or pop or metal, whatever you're trying to make.
yeah,
And that just takes
comparing.
time, just time in the studio. Gotta get the reps in.
Yeah, comparing yourself to your inspirations.
Yeah, and
That's
I
actually that's
constantly, I constantly try to figure out how would how would Chris Martin mix this, or like how would or Chris Martin's producer. I don't know if he does stuff by himself, but or how does Billie Eilish's brother mix? the
Phineas?
stuff that he does. Phineas, yes. I try to figure out like what the process is and like their epiphany moments and what I need to be doing while I'm working on et cetera, et cetera. The more stories I get to hear of how people came up with the songs that they did, the better framework I have when making my own music. Because yes, you're gonna make music however you're gonna make it, and sometimes it's gonna be completely different from everybody else. But it gives me a sense of comfort when I put myself in a situation that I'm like, oh, I remember Daft Punk said they were in this position before, and I was like, okay, that gives me more confidence to like calm down a little bit, but like take your time, make sure like things will happen.
Definitely.
And it's really hard when you're starting off because there's so many things that you're fighting against. Like, shouldn't be making. Why are you making music? It's not good enough. Or like there's so many people out there, et cetera, et cetera. And you're fighting all of these like little mini battles in your head every time you sit down to record something, and it can be very taxing. And so finding other big artists that have gone through the same thing, it always helps because as a musician, you are going on a path that, well, as an artist, just in general, you're going on a path that is that's different from everybody else. Everybody else has their jobs. They know exactly what they're doing, or they know that they're going to get a promotion in a couple of years. They know they're going to get that upgrade, etc. They know that they have a steady line, where there's artists is kind of like complete unknown, and it's nice to find some stability in that unknown with other people's stories and sympathizing and yeah.
That's actually a good point because with I don't know how it is in pop, but in the metal community, there's this real stringent like code of conduct, essentially, like a cardinal rule of not being a ripoff. And I think that's where a lot of the toxicity comes from with people who are just starting out in the metal scene, because if all of your influences are from a single genre, if all of the best influences that you have, like the people who inspire you to do the thing, right, are all from the same genre, have roughly the same structure and such, you're going to sound like them regardless. That was the basis of a song off of Clarity called "In Reverence." In Reverence was me saying, okay, I know I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. This is a well-trodden path. These are the people that I look up to and respect and revere. And so I'm going to sound like them. Why not lean into that? Why not lean into that? And so that's why In Reverence sounds a lot like a Tool song, a Gojira song, Mastodon song, a Devin Townsend song.
Yeah.
You know, with a little bit of Dave Matthews Band in there, but no one needs to know about that. Yeah. But there's this contingency in the metal community that you have to be original and sound different or have something that stands out from that.
What does original mean?
Exactly. And because of that, because everyone's influences are just other metal bands, you have this you've had this homogeny in the metal scene for the last 10 years. And the people who are really innovating, like really innovating the scene, really throwing a stick in the spoke of, butt rock, then they're coming in from jazz. They're coming in from hip hop. I might not be the biggest fan, but I understand the influence and the significance of having polyphia on the scene. because of how different that is, and whether you could continue, call that metal anymore. Sleep Token the same way. They're billed as a metal band, but some of the the earliest producers for Sleep Token, he said, the guys came in, and Vessel came in and said, I want to make Sam Smith. I want to merge Sam Smith and Meshuggah. Like who would think of that? Who would think that? Who would want to combine those two elements? Them. And right now they're on the top of the fucking world.
Yeah, I was trying to combine folk music with pop, and then folk music with electronic pop, and seeing what that did. I don't know if I quite did that, but I was definitely thinking about it when I was making Storybook, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, having a diverse range of, but that's where innovation comes in. It's combining two different things and seeing what works. I'm not really good at like Zoomerisms, like the modern colloquial sayings, or phrases. But there's one recently. It's he's cooking. Let him cook.
Let him.
That I like that one.
Bro, let him cook.
I'm not getting behind the whole skibbity riz.
Yo, them skibbity riz, them old timers,
Rizzler, some shit like that. I'm not getting behind that, but let him cook.
Yeah.
Cooking. Yeah, I get behind that because like musicians kind of is or making music kind of is cooking. It is a process. You got to turn on the oven. You got to prepare
the ingredients
the foundation. Yeah, prepare the foundation, and then you meat and potatoes. Like in my case, the meat and potatoes would be the guitar, bass, and the drums, and then vegetables on the side would be all the synths and all the ghosty, wishy-washy shit in the background, and then all the spices on top of that would be the vocals and the lyrics.
There needs to be a cooking channel, but instead of cooking channel, it's just like making a song. But they use like pieces of paper
of side chain compression.
That would be fun.
A dash of
that would be
reverb.
really fun to do.
Yeah.
Like today we're gonna add. It's like we're gonna add a little bit of Rika. A little bit of.
And yeah.
Over dramatic singing.
We're gonna add a little bit of overdrive to this just to give it a little bit of a kick.
A little bit of Adele. A little bit of Adele there.
Yeah.
A little bit of Sam Smith. A little bit of Coldplay. A little bit of.
Then we're gonna turn.
Some people call me the Space Cowboy.
Some call me the. This is bad.
Oh yeah. Question. I wanted to ask.
How often?
Yeah?
Okay, go. Your question first.
All right, I was gonna say your inspirations. Like, I remember you were talking to me, maybe a month ago or something about how
I don't know. I don't want to talk about what happened a month ago.
Something about
I'm still reeling for
it was either your art, like a person you looked up to, or yourself. You were in the desert somewhere, and like you heard somebody's song. I can't quite remember what you were talking about. Actually, it was one of your inspirations. Was
it a dream?
Got you out of depression or something?
Oh, that's a whole story within itself. No, it was a dream that I had the night before I moved to Austin, Texas. I had all my stuff packed up and all my bed and stuff, and so I was sleeping on the couch. And I had this dream that my father, who passed away when I was younger, um, and I were driving. I was just driving, right? I was driving my car. Uh, had a pull behind, which I actually had a pull behind, to move all my stuff. Um, I was driving down this, country road, kind of windy a bit, and my father was in the passenger seat. The weird thing about that was he he passed away when I was 13, and he was 53 at the time. In my dream, it looked like he had aged. Right? He looked older in the face. He had
Hmm.
white hair, white silver hair, which was weird how dreams do that. Anywho, we're driving down this road and all that stuff, and I see somebody pulled off, down in this embankment, with like a flat tire or whatever. And so I'm turning to my dad. I'm like, I'm gonna go help them. He's like, he didn't say anything. He just folded his arms. And so I get down into this kind of like valley, off the road. Get down there, fix those guys up. It's like a truck. Fix those guys up, like give them a jump off of their battery or whatever. They thank me and then take off. I get back in the car and start going back up to the embankment to get back up on the road, and my car gets stuck. As I'm going up this embankment, I'm gunning it, really really gassing it. I get up to the road, and my car gets like onto the road, onto it, but kind of teeters in between the tires,
Hmm.
the center mass. The trailer's holding me back. I'm half on the road, half not. No one's driving on the road. I can barely see that way. I can't, see what's coming that way. And so I'm panicking, right? I'm trying to gas it. I'm trying to get it to lurch forward so that it can connect in the front, but I have rear wheel drive. And so like switches start I start reversing it, rocking it, turning the wheel, turn the other wheel other way. More knobs and buttons started, appearing on the dashboard like an airplane cockpit. I was pushing every button, I was turning every knob, I was doing everything that I possibly could. I was still just rocking on the road like that. And I'm like, and I turned to my dad, and he's just in the passenger seat. He's just patiently sitting there. He's minding his own business. With this look on his face. I'm like, what should I do? I've tried everything. What should I do? And he's like, well, there's one thing that you haven't done, son. I'm like, what is that? He's like, you see that button on the switch on the door frame? I'm like, the window, yeah. He's like, huh? You see that thing in the center of your steering wheel? I'm like, that's the horn, yeah. He's like, okay. Roll down your window, honk the horn, and call for fucking help. Is what you do. And then I woke up instantly after that. And so that's that kind of set the standard of what the next years looked like. Now I'm 29 now, and I think I've adopted that, you know, for a bit, the last 4 years has been
I'm willing to ask for help.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't 25 when that happened. It, numbers, years. It feels like only yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was 20. That was 2018. That was 2018 when I moved out. So I was like 23. Was I 23? Damn, a lot of shit.
Yeah. But so,
Feels like forever.
who were some
Anyway,
of your artistic inspirations? for this album?
Artistic inspirations. The specific album. A lot of metal musicians. And so I guess there's I speak from a point of I guess experience. I guess like a warning sign, because a lot of the inspirations that I have for this were metal centric, but in that they have these songs that it's not like blast beat the entire time, you know. Well, they have blast beat, but they're able to go back and forth between like the blast beats and the full on angry to the to the slower, to the more to the beautiful, to the to the.
Is there anyone in specific that you can name?
Mastodon.
Okay.
Mastodon's a pretty good one. Their recent album Hushed and Grim is really good. Hushed and Grim is a good album. More Than I Can Chew is a fantastic song, because it goes like there's like 3 sections in that, and it seamlessly goes from one to the next, and there are these emotional gut punches just from the sound of it alone, not to mention the lyrics themselves. A lot of Gojira. The way they're able to manage these looping and complicated guitar patterns and jive with each other, with back and forth between the guitar and the drums, and these soaring vocals. Joseph Duplantier was the vocalist for Gojira. Awesome dude. He has great screaming vocals. He has great control over his harsher vocals. Not so much in the cleans, and that's a matter of opinion. I bet he has good cleans. He has good passable cleans. He's not good in the pop sense. He's not good in like having the good inflection. He's also French as hell. Which accents and such kind of muddies that. What else? But he has a good balance between the clean vocal and the harsh vocal, which I commend a lot. I like being diverse. I like diverse vocalists who are able to go back and forth between those two. The lead singer of Opeth, Mikhail Ackerfield. He's the one that I cite the most in inspiration.
You
because
guys show me
he has
some of these guys sometimes.
He has beautiful cleans and heavy gutturals, but he's still understood, right? He has enunciation.
Yeah, gutturals. I never understood how you could get that get your voice to sound like that. I can try to do like throat singing and stuff like that. I feel like it's kind of like that. You have to practice it over time.
Yeah. A bit, yeah. And when I first started doing them, it would always hurt. I would always do it to a point where it did hurt, because I felt like, okay, well, yeah, of course I'm being harsh with my vocals. Then if I'm being harsh with my vocals and I'm causing that rasp, then it's going to hurt. Yeah. And so I expect that type of pain. Right? I've never bled. There were a few times where I felt like I was about to, but just really hoarse vocals. And I think that's also that's the reason why a lot of metal vocalists or a lot of metal bands like they start out that type of vocal all the time, right? And they would do it like every night or every other night on a tour, and then
Mm-hmm.
you know 3 albums down, they're retrained. They're not doing those vocals anymore. Anytime that you go see them live, they would still do it. They would still do that, but it would be out of practice. They would still do gutturals, but it'd be out of practice. And all new songs that they make, they don't have that. Probably to inject a bit of break, a little bit of rest,
Well, they probably
because
realize
there's
how
a
there's a correct way of doing it, and then there's an incorrect way of doing it. We've seen a couple people that have suffered because of that, of doing it incorrectly.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple of our friends.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so clarification. I am not a furry. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I know it looks strange, but I'm not like
Uh-huh.
I'm not like putting uwus and owos in my bio, and I don't do :3, like what's up with that?
Yeah.
I don't own a fursuit, all that stuff. Cool, right? Yeah, I'm like on the fringes of this. I'm observing
Look,
from
he's just a
afar.
bird on the internet, okay? Just
I'm just
cut him some slack, okay?
I'm just a bird boy on the internet. Sounds weird, but it's I went to FWA. And I met I saw Michael Kovac there.
Okay.
Who's a voice actor for a lot of this internet culture, Has Been Hotel, Murder Drones, which I love, um, Digital Circus. And I asked him, I'm like, where's that cap out? Because where the cap out of like vocal fatigue is.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's professional. He's done that, right? He told me that that his personal because it's based on like your own fatigue and your own stress and your own like stamina. You can work up to a specific point, but the general consensus of like where that cap out is of constantly just doing vocals, 4 hours. About 4 hours a day. That would be the cap out until you start actually feeling like damage. If you talk more than 4 hours a day, then yeah, you're gonna be damaged. I asked him, what about with because I'm a metal vocalist, what would you recommend me in that case? He's like, because you're going a lot harder, I'd say an hour, maybe. I'm like, that makes sense. I haven't really found my cap out because throughout the recording process of Terminal, it was mostly like spurts, right? I wouldn't sit down and just do all the vocals all at the same time. I would just do multiple takes, no matter how many times it takes. I would start feeling fatigue, yeah, doing live shows. I actually did blow out my voice recently at Echosphere back in June. I yeah. I guess I was going a little bit too hard in the paint. I did March of the Pigs. I did a little vocal cover of March of the Pigs, and I think I went a little bit too hammy. Then going into Millstones, which is a song off of Terminal, which also is like one of the heavier vocal deliveries that I've done. Going into that, yeah, I couldn't hit the higher range of the distorted vocal like I normally would, and just it would go flat. And I try to make it sound good, but to me it just sounds like I'm like just now dropping my balls. Yeah, I'm screaming at the kids on Xbox Live.
Well, we've got about 8 minutes left. So is there anything else you want to talk about the album?
Okay, the process, the start to finish, like what it takes to make a song. That'd be a good thing to talk about. Okay, going yeah, from nothing to song, right? It starts with
How does
me
that process work with you?
just idly playing around on my guitar because I don't know, I guess I have some kind of like fixation. Like some people like pick up a video game or like a fidget toy. Like the guitar is kind of like a fidget toy for me. It is always within arm's reach.
Yeah.
Watching YouTube videos, I would sit back and listen to it and play guitar. Sometimes I would like a lot of what I like write or are based. A lot of what I write is like based off of what the video I'm watching. Because sometimes it's like political stuff, um, um, video essays and you know existentialism, about, the consequences of art and the destruction of civilization and such. And so I'd kind of write based on that mood of the video that I'm watching. Um, and the riff just comes to me. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm not very adept at music theory, and so a lot of what I write is based off of like what sounds cool, what feels good to play. So in that case, it's very athletic. Take an athletic approach to it. Um, plus also it would sound good. Then I would save that riff and put that in like a bank of riffs. Um, I need a labeling system. I don't have a labeling system. It's just a folder full of little blips, scattered ideas. Um, but I would when I pick up on a song and I feel like that riff has momentum. Like I can kind of feel like I can do this, right? If this is figure one, figure two could sound something like this, right? And then we go back to figure one, but it's like this, so it's like figure one augmented, you know. Um, or I would have a guitar riff that kind of works for guitar, but would sound better on bass. And so I'd go and play it on bass, and it sounds killer, and that would be like the framework for building more guitars on it. I have lead and rhythm guitar, so they have communications back and forth, and the rhythm is bridging the gap between the bass and the guitar. I started playing on bass, and so my mind, my heart, kind of sits with this communication back and forth between the lead guitar and the bass, and then everything else kind of cascades out from there. After I get up to a specific point of like building up enough momentum, then I start adding drums, start refining things, and putting things in the background, like supporting harmonies and such on terminals. Some of the highlights, some of the you know bigger, more bombastic, larger than life sections, um, kind of come from that. Is like everyone's staying in their own lane and filling their space, being able to occupy their space as best as possible. Um, putting like very like super high harmonies, but simple high harmonies, to reflect what's happening further down in the mix, to kind
Mm-hmm.
of pull that back up. I love listening to like isolated tracks and such. Like,
Do you like isolating the tracks and then bringing them back in one at a time?
mm, yeah, because there's like this cross communication between the different instruments. Like the bass is listening to the drums. The guitar, the rhythm guitar is listening to what the bass is doing, or listening to what the bass was doing, and repeating what that bass was doing, 2 figures ago, to bring that riff back and have punch under the mix. The lead guitar is doing something that the bass will eventually do, but it doesn't know yet. And so you have like 2 converging paths all merging or being played at the same time, and it makes for this layered experience where no matter at what volume you listen to it, you'll have more to pick up on. It's I like writing with the intention of multiple listens, multiple passes, like rewarding returnees type of thing. Plus, also, I just get I just get bored of like what I'm listening to, because I fall into the
you have
trap
to change
of
it up every so
over
often. The
listening.
more, yeah.
But like
Well,
my patience for the same thing over and over again is dwindles quickly, and so that's why it changes so much. I guess that's why I like progressive metal, progressive rock.
Ooh,
So
well,
I
one
choose
last
to
thing
do that
before we
because
go.
it's more, yeah.
What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite time signature?
It's a cross between 5/8 and 7/8.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Mine's, I don't know. I can
between
always
five
just
eight
do
and 7/8.
4/4. But
I like 7/8
heck yeah, well,
because it pulls you back a bit. A good example of that is The Temple by Andrew Lloyd Webber for Jesus Christ Superstar. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like you're walking down a set of stairs and you think that there's another step, but there's not. One of those.
and you're like, whoop.
Yeah.
Well, that's our time. This is the first interview for Storybook Songclub. You can probably find this on YouTube. I hope I posted this in time before the 11th. Oh
Yeah.
God, I need to do that. It's gonna be August 11th at around. It's either gonna be 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. But I'll let everybody know that before it happens.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. All right. Take care, guys.
Precisely.
Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yes. Thank you for coming. Yes.